summary, which is in draft, as well as other documents particular to your department and the township overall. In the interest of the time, I'm going to flip it right over to Ray Sarinelli to walk you through and give you basically a summary viewpoint as to where we are at this point in time. This isn't the budget for introduction. This is clearly our first look at it, and that we have time to continue to work through these numbers before we hit the introduction. And right now, we're slated to introduce March 21. So with that, Ray?
Sure. So just to stay on the dates that Commissioner Evans mentioned, I know you've all individually been working on your own departmental budgets, but this is the first chance that you've had to look at how all those budgets come together and how they impact the tax rate and each other and the impact to a taxpayer. So the plan would be, so this is the start of a process, but from here forward, it's a pretty short time window because you're looking to introduce the budget by March 21st, which would mean pretty much any changes would need to be back to row by next week, by next Wednesday, March 15th. The plan would be to introduce on March 21st and then adopt the budget on April 18th. That meets all of the statutory requirements.
Just Ray, as a clarification, given the fact that we get transitional aid, our adoption date, it would not be April. It will probably be closer to the end of May, beginning of June, like it was last year.
Right.
Because we won't get final approval from the DCA to adopt until that time.
So I'll change that to say that your hearing date will be April 18th, and then your adoption date will be pending final approval of the division on your actual transition aid amount.
I would agree with that.
Okay. So just to kind of summarize up the numbers that you have, because I know you're looking at all of these for the first time today. Across the top, Rosemary has allocated out the inside-outside cap grants and the overall increase by individual commission and the reserve for uncollected taxes. I think where I wanted to spend the time focusing on what I think, or what I believe you feel is most important, and I'll go to the front page in the bottom left-hand corner where it says the budget increase. So the budget increase in expenses right now is $1,462,000. The budget increase net, of course, is offset by when we reduce the revenue side by 15%, we reduce the payout by 15% as well, and that brings down the total impact to the tax levy to $1,763,000. And then that's broke that down maybe for the first time into what makes up the increase in taxes to the average taxpayer. So right now you're at 4.54% on the tax levy, which I think, with some effort, you'll get to a better position than that. But right now, the budget increase gross, which is $1,313,000. If you look to the right bottom corner of the front page, you'll see the major areas of increase and decrease. So it talks about the top two lines there, police and fire are $489,000 and $246. Other salaries and wages is a reduction of $15,000. Passaic Valley Sewer is down $93,000. The library appropriation is up $32,000. The two pensions are up about $80,000. Other insurances are up $110,000. Group insurance is at $466,000. Utilities are up $20,000. Debt service is down $57,000. Reserve for uncollected taxes is up $84,000. and then other increases in OE that don't fit into those categories are down about 49,000. So that net 1,313,000 increase in expenses, if we come back over to the change in taxes to the average taxpayer, right now would create $128.25 increase to an average taxpayer. The reason the increase to a taxpayer would be for other reasons would include the 15% reduction in the municipal transition aid. So generally, depending on how much we can influence the process in Trenton, the division's position has always been that transition aid is to transition you from a bad position to a better position, and that they want to take away 15% of your aid each year. Now, some years you've avoided that, but trying to follow the rules, at least at this point, the net loss of the aid of $291,000 caused a $28.59 increase. Then, because there were about a half a dozen revenues that were reduced from 2017 to 2016 to 2017, basically because they don't exist any longer, that also caused an increase net of $158,000 for $15.62. So right now, before you start adjusting budgets, etc., and even though you have a short time to do it, the average taxpayer would see a $172 increase, assuming there would be a 15% reduction in state aid. And then I guess Commissioner Evans was going to talk about some individual lines and details of the budget, but that's in summary where we're at.